Hey, and happy Thursday to everybody. We are here with somebody that I have enjoyed for quite some time, and somehow this is just astonishing to me. This is the first time that Tim has been on the channel. Everybody say hello to Tim Talks Talkies. Tim, thanks for doing this.
Thank you so much for asking me, man. Once you asked, I'm like, heck yes, I am totally in.
I don't know how it never happened the first time. I swear that this was in my mind. It happened like 6 months ago. So I'm glad it's finally here. For those that have never done anything with Tim's channel, please check out the link in the description below. Tim is a fantastic creator, big lover of steelbooks, somebody
Yes.
that is a positive force for physical media, which is what we all need right now. So Tim, why don't you tell everybody what you do on your channel?
Uh, I wish I could tell like an easy focus. I'm never good at promoting myself. It's just I'm just a guy that loves movies, so I talk physical media, but I also have hobbies like my statues behind me, and I love movie posters and different collectibles. So my channel is just all things movies that I love. I don't really have a focus. I just love movie stuff.
Going to conventions is a big thing for Tim. You
Yes,
got another
I
one
love.
coming up.
Yes, Steel City in Pittsburgh. I'm going to be going next month. They're going to have mostly everybody from the first Scream, which is awesome. I mean, I'm basically just Courtney Cox and Drew Barrymore away from having like the whole cast when I go. And they're also going to have the whole Christmas Story cast, which is awesome.
That's a big deal. Anybody else that you got your eyes on?
Alec Baldwin is going to be there. Famke Janssen. Geez, it's a big con. There's a lot of people. McKenna Grace, because at New York Comic Con I met Chris Evans and got a gifted poster signed. So then I'm going to get McKenna Grace to sign it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's pretty damn cool.
I'm a big autograph guy.
I wasn't for the longest time, and then since I don't know, maybe like since the pandemic, which is the great time to be meeting people in person to have them sign things. That was like I all of a sudden just like, it's kind of nice to get some of these. I was never like the starstruck kind to go, man, I have to get their signature, but there's just something about it that is nice to be able to hold on to that.
Oh, absolutely. That staring at them gives me the memories of the time, and some of them are more positive. Some people are just great to meet, and then there's other ones who are like Peter Weller, who was kind of just an old grump, but he was still Peter Weller.
Yeah. I think one of the big reasons that it's kind of flipped on me is because I met Sid Haig in August of the year that he passed, and he passed like 45 days after we met him. And I happened to get something signed, and I'm like, this is perfect. I am so glad that I had this right then. This is a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll always hold on to that memory, though. You just look at the autograph, and it just brings back memories.
There's one question I don't think I've ever heard you answer. Either that or I never went back to the archives of every single video to find out. Why Talks Talkies? Why is that part of the name on the channel?
Because so many people use Blu-ray or movie or some variant of it, and I love classic movies. And for anyone that doesn't know, after we transitioned from silent era into talking, they were called Talkies, and no one refers to it like that. And I wanted to have something kind of original in me.
Pretty damn original. I'm into it. Let's see. Tonight, just so everybody's aware, we're going to be talking about Criterions. Next discussion after all of our announcements, we're going to go into 5 underrated recommendations, things that aren't quite as on the tip of everybody's tongue right now as they're going through the sale. And it's a big deal. Barnes & Noble sales, one of everybody's, that's in this hobby. They look forward to this twice a year.
Yep.
And it's the most accessible time for these. Most of the Barnes & Nobles, they usually stock up at least a couple times during the month, and they really try to get some of these titles out there. And I tried to pick 5 that they'll probably have, ones that you would find, but not ones that people talk about a lot. So we're going to talk about those. But first, we normally talk about pickups and recent watches. So why don't we talk about some recent watches first, Tim? What have you been watching?
Ooh, okay. So I'm not a big Letterboxd guy, but I've actually been starting to track on here at least, and I'll convert it. But last night I watched Blue Steel for the first time.
Nice.
I know we have the Vestron now, but I actually watched it from the imprint release from the Neo Noir set.
Yep.
Really cool movie, man. I enjoyed that a lot. I don't know why I never watched that one.
That is a darker movie than you would expect. It came out right in that perfect time of like Unlawful Entry was coming out right around then, and it's
That's
just
a good one too.
it's not like pure propaganda, but it's very Jamie Lee Curtis is just a badass, odd, weird villain in that film, and just crazy storyline. Love that movie.
Yeah, the dude just will not go down. My wife and I are looking at each other like, my God, this guy's like the Terminator. He just keeps coming.
The big thing though, that Blue Steel on Vestron, that'll be the first time that's on Blue in the US, and it sounds, I mean, it's Vestron, so it should be fairly cheap if they're keeping with the standard that they've been doing. And well, you could have found it for a while at Best Buy, and not for much longer now.
No, not for much longer. But it should be like Walmart normally has the Vestrons lately. So
yeah.
I highly recommend picking that one up though.
It's a good one. You watched that from Imprint. Did you ever happen to watch Testament?
I did not. I didn't get to that one yet. I'm in the noir mood right now, so I was kind of going for that. But I did pick it up. I have it back there because you recommended it. I bought it from Orbit that night, and I will be getting to it. I just, like I said, I'm heavily in the noir mood right now.
It is a solid overall package. Some very apocalyptic extras on that, I'll say. There's some awkward, like a PowerPoint presentation of what to do during a nuclear explosion type of things. It's wild. Great release.
Yeah, I'm totally in for it though. When you started selling it and then I looked it up, I'm like, yeah, this is a me movie, definitely.
It sounded like a Tim movie. Anything else? You were talking about Goosebumps. I haven't gotten to any of that yet.
Yeah, so the Goosebumps TV show, I've been really digging it. I went in kind of skeptical because it looked kind of typical teenish show now, and I wanted more of the anthology feel, like the original show. But they somehow make this work. They throw in the old storylines kind of with the same continuing characters. It actually works. I like it. Shockingly, it's fun.
I was kind of a similar vein. I was stoked to see Bloody Disgusting report that they are working on another of those Fear Street movies, and I really liked that trilogy.
I did too. They were fun. I liked them a lot.
I would love to see another trilogy, but it sounds like it's just going to be another one movie at a time, unfortunately.
But yeah, otherwise, I've been in a heavy noir mood. Though, actually, one thing that's not noir that I watched that I actually recommend, I watched Quiz Lady on Hulu. I enjoyed that quite a bit. It's with Aquafina.
It's the new one, okay.
Yes, I enjoyed that a lot, man. Watching that is making me like, dang it, I wish that would get a physical because it's probably not going to.
Yeah, I mean, probably not, but it's getting marketed like crazy.
It's good. It's pretty dang good. I was shocked. It had heart and laughs. I want to own it.
How do you normally feel about Aquafina? Because I know she's very hit or miss for a lot of people.
Her straight up comedy stuff is but she can do drama stuff pretty well. Like Quiz Lady has drama moments, and The Farewell is fantastic. Yeah. I loved The Farewell.
Yeah, I've liked her in pretty much everything that she's done. It's the like one man show type of things that she's tried to do. I've never been super big into that stuff for her, but even some of the comedy shows that she's been a part of, when she hits, she hits.
Yeah. I had a blast with Quiz Lady, but I love daytime like game shows, Price is Right, and things like that. And if you like that type of stuff, it's fun.
One of my recent watches, this is for something I'm working on. Did you ever get to see The Final Girls?
No, that was a recommendation from someone, and I went. It was on no streaming, and the Blu-ray for some reason when I looked, it was like $18. I'm like, not yet.
It's one that doesn't get down to a decent price very often. It is a shockingly original, like decent movie. The premise of it is there's an individual whose mom was in a summer camp slasher like 20 years ago. And they are living life, and she's like over the fact that she was in the slasher movie, and there's a tragedy that happens, and she dies. And that's not really a spoiler because it happens in the first 3 minutes of the movie. But the daughter lives through this tragedy, and so she's facing the fact that her mom was gone, and somebody gets her to go to a rep screening of her mom's old movie. And she hasn't seen the movie since her mom passed away, so it's this big, poignant, emotional moment. But as they're in this movie, there's another tragedy that strikes, and because of some weird happenstance, her and her group of friends end up in the movie with her mom and with all of these actors. It's this weird, like, Happy Death Day kind of premise that it's interesting. And so she's dealing with the fact that she lost her mom. Now she's in this movie with her mom and dealing with the weird, it's a slasher still. It's a great movie. I think people need to check it out.
So it's sounding a lot like the newer movie Totally Killer, which maybe it ripped a bunch of that off. Because as you describe that, it sounds like you're describing Totally Killer. Like,
I haven't seen Totally Killer yet, but
a lot of the plot points, it's the mother was attacked as a teen and then killed later down the line, and then the daughter travels back in time accidentally. It's there is it sounds a lot like it, man, when you described it.
Interesting. I did not know that it was like that. Yeah. Terry says the Final Girls has a lot of heart that one wouldn't always associate with the genre, and I would agree. Yeah, it has a lot of emotional beats that are nice. It's very, very. You can tell a lot of people could watch that to cope with losing a loved one from a while ago.
I'm gonna have to check it out, especially because I enjoyed Totally Killer. But if Totally Killer is kind of a ripoff, I would like to see where it actually came from. Because man, you described it. I swear it sounds so similar.
Sibner says Totally Killer is basically a slasher Back to the Future, and I've heard that exact sentence, and I've been wanting to see it. It's just been, unfortunately, at the bottom of the queue. Another one that I watched recently, and I've watched about 2/3 of it. I got to finish it tomorrow morning, but Mondo Macabro. I know that you laughed when I pulled out some of those titles during one of the tournaments we were in. Have you got anything from them? Have you watched anything from Mondo Macabro?
Zero.
So they put out a Bollywood horror box set, and people that have not dove into that yet and they own it, please watch something out of there, man. This box set is so unique. Some decent music, really interesting premises. The set pieces are so well done, but through it all, it's just so India, so 80s, so weird. It's just a wonderful box set. It's so much fun.
Bollywood puts out some interesting stuff, and that RRR was something.
Love that movie. Well, you always have a shit ton of pickups. What do you got that you want to talk about tonight?
So I just got some to highlight. I have like all that down there as pickups that I didn't even do for a video.
I love that it's so obvious that that's Barbie there on top. It's so clear.
I was so bummed. I wanted it release day, and there was no Steelbook here. I'm like, what the heck? Where's the Steelbook? But then it's like a week later, Orbit puts it up. Add to cart, purchase.
Same. Yeah.
So one of the things, we have a lot of books in this house. I have an entire book room also, like our own home library. Yeah. We have a lot of Stephen King. I enjoy a lot of Stephen King. This set from Via Vision is really freaking cool, man. I like it a lot. And what's really cool is Bag of Bones, first time to Blu-ray, or at least it's not here yet. And Riding the Bullet, which I actually watched from here. I think I watched it when it first came out, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. The rest of it, I didn't necessarily need, but it's a cool box. This is the definitive, I bought it because of packaging, essentially. Yeah. But even the spines, they look like worn books.
Nice.
It's cool. It's a cool set.
I've held off because, of course, with Kino and what the studio did, I've already got 2 of those on 4K, so I don't necessarily want to downgrade those 2. But, man, having the other 2 in there that we don't have here is just a plus. I kind of want it.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of this times when Imprint and Via Vision have them, they do come to the U.S. down the line, but I love King, so I was like, I got to get it.
Same.
And speaking of Imprint, when I added Barbie to the cart, not Barbie. This is actually when I bought Testament. I didn't want to just put one thing in there. So I threw in the Jennifer Connelly box set.
Nice.
I really like their actor and director focused box sets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to have this one. Man, I swear Imprint has become like one of my favorite labels. I freaking love their stuff.
They're so great at what they do. The only thing, I just wish they weren't so cost prohibitive.
Oh, they're so expensive, man. So expensive.
The single titles I can usually try to justify at around $30, but when a box set is, $130, it starts to get a much more difficult time.
I want that Walter Hill set so freaking bad. And it was, what was it, 59 on orbit or something like that. I'm like, oh my
Something
God,
like
I want it though so bad.
that.
This one's going to be one that's going to probably make you like shocked because the physical community has been loving this label. My very first Radiance title, which I'm going to be checking
Oh
this out
wow.
soon. Yeah, everything I've seen and heard about Radiance is fantastic, but I just never grabbed any of their stuff. But everyone has been gooing and gawing over this one, so I had to pick it up, and I'm going to finally dive into Radiance and see what they're all about. But packaging wise, it looks awesome.
Have you ever seen Messiah of Evil?
No, this is taking a blind chance, man. Blind chance.
You are going to be ecstatic. This is
Ooh.
probably one of the easiest blind buys that I don't usually say this often. I think almost anybody could get this film and like it way more than most films. Messiah of Evil is like an across the board great film for most people.
Oh damn, you're making me want to jump out of the noir this month to watch that.
It would be a nice one for you, I think.
I got two more here to show.
Yeah.
Super excited to get this one in.
Yeah.
It was either the end of September or the beginning of October. I watched the first Ginger Snaps for the first time in my life. I enjoyed the heck out of it. It was a lot of fun, man. I dug it. So Second Sight having a box set for the trilogy, I had to. Second Sight box sets are incredible. Yep. So I'm not going to rewatch the first yet because I just watched it, but I have to dive into 2 and 3. I hear they're not as good, but
they're not. Yeah.
But look at that artwork.
It's pretty great. And Second Sight is always fantastic.
Yeah, so I had to. And then because I'm kind of a horror for steelbooks, I don't know why we didn't get a Black Phone steelbook here, but that's a gorgeous steelbook. And I loved Black Phone, one of my favorite movies from that year. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
So this is great that you're showing this because I forgot to mention this last week. I am hearing the Black Phone from Turbine is quietly already out of print. And
really?
This is a big deal because it just released. Yeah. And supposedly one of the reasons that it's out of print so quickly is because the 4K in Germany is an incredible not restoration, but an incredible scan, incredible 4K release. And it was like exponentially better than the 4K release in the States. And the studio didn't like that. So they quietly said, you're not going to sell anymore.
Well, damn, I'm happy I got this then because I freaking loved this one. Did you like this movie?
I thought that it was great for about 2/3 of it. I wasn't a huge fan of the final act. I loved the tension they created before the main character was kidnapped, but after that, it kind of let me down a little bit. But I adore Ethan Hawke. Supposedly they're working on a sequel. I just hope that it's very Ethan Hawke heavy.
Yeah, I don't know how I guess you go prequel.
Probably, yeah.
But the actress that played the sister, she was good, man. She was
amazing.
Good.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the first 1 to 2 acts of that. I really wish that they could have kept that tension going, but I don't know. It's just something about it didn't sit right for me. I pulled out 3 to talk about because I feel like not many people are talking about the Pusher trilogy from Umbrella. You talked about a couple imprint releases, and Umbrella also from Australia, and this trilogy. First off, I've never seen any of these movies, and some people that I trust are telling me that these are the best crime films they've ever seen. And people that love Nicholas Winding Refn saying everything in this box set is way better than Drive, which a lot of people worship that film. I don't really worship it like most, but it's a good movie. And if these are even better, the big thing to me is a friend of mine, Howard S. Berger, did an ongoing visual essay over all 3 pieces. So you get this big connecting snapshot. I can't wait to check that out. Which one to show next? I love this movie. I am very surprised that Arrow put out a 4K of Witness.
Yes, that's over my pile. Oh, yes.
If you've never seen Witness, please pick this up and check it out. This is such a unique storyline for a movie, a film that probably would not come together nowadays because they wouldn't put money into something like this. They would think that it would fail. This movie's amazing, and Harrison Ford, maybe a hot take here. I think he might be at the top of his game in this movie.
So what's funny is back on Huck's Pop Culture Cafe's channel, he did a Harrison Ford tournament thing I was on. A bunch of us were pretty much going through all of his movies and deciding what's the best Harrison Ford movie. That won. Because collectively, we just Witness is his best role. Witness is the best movie of his.
I'm very impressed by that.
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie.
It really is. Really, really is. Video Store Review says, I can endorse the praise for the Pusher films. I also think they're the best references made by a mile. Wow.
Oof.
Love that. Witness is terrific. Peter Weir doesn't get the love he deserves. Indeed. Last thing, I've not seen many people talking about this, but showing up the 4K from A24.
Yeah, I want to see that really bad. It looks good. I wanted to go to theaters for it.
Yeah, I did too. Love me some Kelly Reichardt, one of the best modern filmmakers. And I, for some reason, I glossed over the fact when I was posting this that these beautiful art cards are in here. Like, these are some of the better supplements that I've seen in some of these releases. I'm very happy to get this.
Yeah, I'm absolutely ordering that soon enough. But when I order that, I'll probably throw that in, and I still never got Marcel the Shell, so I'll probably just order several things at once.
I've got my Marcel somewhere. Stan says it's not Ford's best. Well, then what's better? Come on.
Yeah,
I'll fight you, Stan.
If you're going Harrison Ford roles, so that's taking out Star Wars he's just in Star Wars.
Right.
And so Indiana Jones, yes, but Indiana Jones, I think, is just the collective of how fun they are. Acting wise, Witness he's better in Witness.
I would agree.
I don't know what else comes close. Witness is just, as a whole, it's number one for me. I mean, it's fantastic.
The only other one I could see somebody arguing is maybe The Fugitive. But it doesn't hit me the same way.
No, and I'll be honest, Tommy Lee Jones kills it in a lot of scenes in that, though, that are more memorable than even Harrison's roles. I want every outhouse, every road, I love that scene. I can't quote it, but I love that scene.
Oh man, lots of good comments on that. I am stoked. Regarding Henry, that's another good one too.
I enjoyed it.
No, come on, dude. It's not Harrison Ford's best in American Graffiti. 6 days, 7 nights. All right. One of the things that we should probably at least argue about for a moment.
Oh God, I think I know where you're gonna go.
Tim, why don't you tell us about the video you posted this morning?
Oh God. So my most recent video on my channel is one actually I thought it would be more disruptive in the community than it is, which is nice actually. I'm not a fan of slipcovers. I really don't care about them. I'm thinking about taking off all of my slips and pretty much just giving them to people because I don't need them. They mean nothing.
Before we get too deep into this, I completely agreed with everything you said. I've considered it many, many times. I just haven't taken the time to do it. It seems like something I would love to have accomplished, but it's so cumbersome just to sit down and do it.
I figured it out too. If you have a full or at least with the shelves I have, I can fit 20 across with slips. I fit 23 without slips. That's a lot of movies when you go shelf by shelf. That's a lot of extra room. And it just, I think, looks better. So like there's a lot of people, so the Kino Lorbers, there's a lot of people that don't like they're just plain black.
I love it. It's so nice.
I love it. And when you take the slips off of them, it's just all uniform across the board. I just prefer it.
Craig from Deaf Crocodile says that's an interesting take for someone who's a self-confessed steelbook whore.
That's the thing. I love steelbooks. I love them. My mind places value and I care about steelbooks. I've spent $150 on a single steelbook already, but I won't spend even a penny more for a copy with a slipcover. It just doesn't mean anything to me. It's just, especially when it's most of the time the same artwork, at least from studios, it's mostly all the same exact artwork. And it's not even like, hey, all releases have slips. they pick and choose which ones have slips. So what's the point then?
Yeah, and for those that haven't watched the video yet, he's primarily talking about the studio slipcovers, not things like Paramount Presents, not things like a Vinegar Syndrome partner label title. We're talking about the ones that are the same exact art, the pointless cover over cover. It's the same art. I've never understood that.
Yep. That's why I had to make sure I put 99% of slipcovers, because there's that 1% that I care and I'll keep, but the rest of them, yeah.
Dustin, bless him, he finally lost me. I've never understood the studio thing. Like, if you're gonna put a slipcover on it and you're gonna spend a couple cents on it, why not just do it the original poster art? If you're gonna do new promotional art, do the original poster, do something.
Yes. I don't know, man. Even if it's the same artwork, but the sleeve is reversible, and then it gives you the option to reverse it, so you have different art for slip and cover. But most of them don't do that. We hardly get reversible artwork as a whole.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
When we did that trip to Bull Moose, a whole bunch of the community went to Bull Moose, and I'm watching everyone in the store just they're going to town. They're going ape shit over this stuff. They're grabbing all these things like, oh, look at this. And most of it was because of they were finding copies with slip covers. And to me, I'm looking at the store. It was mostly common stuff. Like, I didn't come away with that much because it was a lot of commons.
Right.
But they cared about finding the slip covers, and I'm like, that means nothing.
That makes sense. Oh, John says, come on, fellas, no politics, religion, or slip slander here. Slip slander should almost be like the name of a podcast or something, talking about the most ridiculous eBay sales of the week, something like that.
If anyone was subscribed now, they're unsubscribing.
They had you open another tab and going, oh, never mind.
I'm actually, to be honest though, I'm shocked that video has been pretty well received. I'm shocked, because I thought people were just gonna rip into me, but it's been pretty well received, which is pretty cool.
People love you, Tim. We're glad to have it. I was just joshing. There's no reason to argue there. It's, especially when it's the same art, it's absolutely pointless. And I mean, we're all out of space. Well, not all of us, but many of us are out of space. If you just toss slipcovers, you've got at least room for another 40 more, probably.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not like I want to toss them. I'm just giving them to people. I gave Bob like 30 of them, and I'll give them to people. I don't care.
Right. Well, are we ready for some announcements, sir?
Yeah.
Let's dive in. First one this week is one amazing cover. Super into this. Coming early in 2024 on Blu-ray from Oscilloscope is Moon Garden. This is a 2022 film. And just the first sentence of this very much intrigued me. It says, shot on expired 35mm film stock with vintage rehoused lenses, Moon Garden is a fantastical odyssey and a visionary handcrafted and fully practical work of art that shows how a child can shine light even in the darkest places.
They did a good job selling it, because between artwork and the description, that does intrigue me. I don't love Oscilloscope's packaging, but that does sound really good.
I'll even go a step further. I mostly hate Oscilloscope's packaging. But that being said, I've been a very happy subscriber of Oscilloscope for 3 or 4 times in a row. They do great stuff. I'm generally happy with their catalog.
Oh, they do really good stuff. I'm a big cat person, and their documentary Ketty is so adorable. I loved it.
That was a big one. Next up, Kino Lorber, coming soon on Blu-ray, Man-Eater of Kumaun, something like that. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last word. 1948, this came out. This is a big one for a lot of people. More of Seibu on Blu-ray. That's the big draw.
Yeah, so I've not seen this, but I'm all over classic stuff, and Kino Lorber is one of the main ones really pumping it out, man. They pump out so much old black and white stuff. It is awesome, because they're saving these movies that really no one is caring about nowadays, which is I love it. So this is something I would probably It'll probably end up in the collection at some point.
Well, and who else is putting out black and white movies as often as them? Nobody. That's the big thing.
Not at the rate they do too. Like they'll put out like 5 in 1 week.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is impossible to stay up to date with Kino, that's for sure.
One of my favorite newer-ish ones, though, that's been doing a lot of that stuff. I love Film Detective also. Film Detective does cool stuff. So I've been digging them, and I enjoy classic flicks. But neither one has the output of Kino. Even close to the output of Kino.
Right. Well, and Film Detective is no more already. You know that, right?
No, I didn't.
So Film Detective is now Film Masters.
I saw the name Film Masters. I just thought that was kind of like a sub label, but it
is Film Detective with a new shiny coat of paint. Okay. So the owner of Film Detective sold it to somebody else, thinking because he was basically under the impression that they were going to be able to work together to do something magnificent. And they said, nope, we're going to screw your company that you built from the ground up over, and not going to be anything like you envisioned. So he said, fine, I'm going to take a little bit of the money that you gave me, and we're going to go start our own thing. And it's even the same type of branding. And,
it looks the same. I thought it was with the same company, essentially.
It literally is. They're doing all of the same type of things, and yeah, they're putting out some great stuff, and they were the ones to announce the first release that I'm on, so I'm stoked to support them.
That's awesome, because actually I had this on my desk because I recommended this in a different stream, but like this was a cool box set. Like no one was saving these super early Sherlock Holmes films. Like this is awesome.
I'm gonna sound like a dick now after talking them up so much. I think that's the only release from them that I didn't love. I like the movies, but
the box is chintzy, but
the box is awful. But also the restorations are really not great on there, and I think it's because there were so many films. They couldn't afford great restorations for. I think it's 4 films in there.
Yeah, 4 films. Yep.
So to do all of that for the price that they did, that would have been a lot of money on restorations, and they probably needed a little more restoration work.
Yeah, I only watched 1 of the 4, but I enjoyed it.
They're good movies.
Are they even? That might be even public domain too. I'm not even sure.
I wouldn't be surprised. They do a lot of public domain stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Next up, Pet Sematary Bloodlines from this year is getting a 4K and Blu-ray release from Paramount. This is coming on December 19th, and I've not seen this. I know a lot of people were upset when that remake came out. I actually kind of liked the remake. Did you get a chance to check this out?
So I didn't see this one yet. I just watched the original right around the time the remake came out. I never saw the original before, so I watched basically the original and the remake almost back to back.
Wow.
I thought they were both fine. That was about to sum it up. I thought they were both fine.
Yeah.
So I'll probably check this one out at some point, but I'm not like hyped for it or anything.
I am into John Lithgow. So him being in that second one, or the remake, not the second one, was a fairly big draw for me. I think he did pretty great in that role. And then this one, I mean, Henry Thomas is fantastic in pretty much everything nowadays.
Yeah, he is.
Obviously delivers great stuff for Flanagan, but then Pam Grier's in this, David Duchovny. It's a pretty nice cast.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out at some point. And it's a streaming thing coming to disc. That's always good.
That's a big reason to support it too. Show them that we'll buy it.
Yeah.
Next, one that is a little infuriating, but also really exciting. December 4th, the BBC is releasing Black Adder, the complete collection, with the little asterisk there because they're not advertising that, even though they're calling this the complete collection, it's only the complete collection of what they have the rights to, meaning Back and Forth is not included in this, which is an interesting time travel-y type episode. And then the original pilot episode. This is an odd show because there was 2 pilots. And so complete collection, it's not really, but it's Blu-ray releases of an incredible series, and I would love to have this.
Is the one pilot basically the unaired pilot?
I think it literally played once, if I remember reading about it correctly. But yeah, it's kind of rare, and it's not something that the BBC themselves have had the rights to. So
yeah, okay,
they couldn't put it out there.
It's an awesome looking set though.
Yeah, for an incredible show, and there's a lot of stuff on here. Yeah, this is a big deal. And I see the comment that I said out loud when I saw this announcement. Jesus Christ, Blackadder is 40 years old, and it really is. Yeah, this is wild. I would love to get this. You can actually pre-order this on amazon.co.uk already, and it needs to go on my wish list.
I wish this is probably more of a bank problem for me, but anytime I order anything from Amazon UK, I always have problems where my bank just refuses to let the charge go through. It's like their fraud detection. So I never get to pre-order anything from Amazon UK because no matter how many times I tell the bank, accept it, it's good, it doesn't, and then Amazon cancels the order. I've given up.
See, and that's when I try to do the any of the international Amazons or directly even from some of these other boutiques. Not everybody has access to that, and I know that's privilege speaking here, but Capital One credit cards, best thing to do in my opinion for those, because not only do they have good fraud detection and it never gets there's no alarm bells going off for any of these, but on top of that, Capital One doesn't charge foreign transaction fees.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
the only thing that you got to worry about is the what am I trying to think of? The currency conversion. But other than that, you're good. You don't ever have to pay that extra 2% or whatever it is.
Yes, I generally PayPal's on most websites, and I try to do my foreign stuff with PayPal because that gives me no issues.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Next one, March 26th. VCI is releasing Dark Knight of the Scarecrows 1 and 2 on 4K. They're also releasing the 2-pack on Blu-ray. Man, this... First off, do you have much experience with VCI, or have you seen Dark Knight of the Scarecrow?
No. Sell me on
it. No, well, the first movie is actually brilliant. It's a wonderful, great Scarecrow movie, like one of the best, maybe the best Scarecrow movie of all time. But the hard part, VCI is absolute garbage. Most of their releases are burned Blu-rays with cover art that looks like it was printed. I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself for those in the Discord because I just said this earlier today. It looks like cover art that was printed from like a 2004 laser printer and then haphazardly kind of sideways. And it's on top of that, just poor restorations. None of it works. It's just usually bad. And trusting VCI with the 4K does not sound like a great time for me. But also, the hard part is I don't know, they're probably going to do them standalone eventually. The second Dark Knight of the Scarecrows, I've not seen, but the trailer for it alone was god-awful. It was so bad, there was somebody wearing a VCI hat to advertise the company in the trailer.
Wow. Yeah, no, I have no experience with these. So a lot of older horror, I'm working my way through some stuff with them, but I didn't grow up with horror. I didn't really actually start watching horror until like somewhere in my teens.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that people talk about with horror. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch it. I grew up with classic movies going in the house.
Yeah, I didn't get much classics. And the funny thing is I only got mainstream horror. So a lot of this I'm actually very much still discovering myself. So it's always fun. But yeah, the first one of these is a really good movie. Not from VCI, though.
And this is slightly off topic, but since you mentioned about the cover art, this just popped into my mind. Do you have the Domestic Disturbance release from Paramount? I think it's Paramount, right?
Domestic Disturbance.
Yeah.
I think I might.
Because that is one of the worst cover arts I've ever seen because it's all pixelated and looks like they took a 20 DPI picture and printed it out. I just, that popped into my mind because it's absolutely terrible. And I wonder.
I have not seen it.
The D's are next to me, but there's no way I'm going to find it. There's so many. But yeah, it is awful. It's really bad cover art. Like you see the actual pixels in it. I was flabbergasted that they shipped that.
Wow, that's pretty embarrassing. We got a question. How was the Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things 4K? That was the first VCI 4K. And I'm not going to pick it up because I have an older release that's not VCI. And this one, the reviews that I've been reading on that is essentially VCI Blu-rays finally look like DVD quality. And now the 4Ks finally look like Blu-rays. So if you want it in high definition, you can finally pick up the 4K to get it on what you should have had 10 years ago.
There we go. That's resounding news there. Geez, I've heard great things on that movie though.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure. Next up, kind of an experimental turn for Reconnected at the moment. Black Zero. They are a company that is like Golden Age of Video out of Canada. They work on creating their entire product themselves, especially the special features. They work with a lot of filmmakers to get these out, and they got their second wave of titles out here finally. This first one is A Man Whose Life Was Full of Woe Has Been Surprised by Joy. This is from 1997. And this is about transformations of imagery through collage and montage, about history as transformation, about eros as a transformative power, and most of all, about the transformations of the self. It rejects modernity's inhumane technological order and seeks to reconnect the body and the self. This is all done by R. Bruce Elder, and it's newly restored, and it's newly restored from the film's elements themselves. Commentary by R. Bruce Elder and Stephen Broomer, who owns Black Zero. And then we got a new interview with R. Bruce Elder on this, and a new video essay done by Stephen Broomer as well. I don't know anything about these, and most people don't either.
It sounds intriguing enough, but the cover art, though, is bad. I do not like that at all. That doesn't sell me on anything, but it sounds intriguing.
Yeah. Most people that have bought these, they know going into it that it's experimental, and they're usually into it. I don't love a lot of the cover art. I think there's one or two from this batch that I tend to enjoy. The next one, Green Dreams. See, this one's not bad.
No, that's fine. That's pretty standard. That's not bad.
This one is going to have a bunch of stuff on here. So this is the comprehensive collection covering the origins as a student filmmaker of Josephine Massarella, who was at the University of British Columbia in the early 1980s. And this is going to include One Woman Waiting, Number 5 Reversal, Interference, Green Dream, Night Stream, Light Study, No End, and 165708.
That's a title.
I guess so. These are individual commentaries on each film by an international selection of film critics, artists, filmmakers, and poets. There are 4 early films by Massarella as well, and then some archival interviews and the liner notes. Lots of stuff going into these. There are not a lot of information about a lot of these releases. People have not been super into it if they're not into experimental films. So just take that with a grain of salt, and realize too, it's from Canada. So when you go into it, you're going to end up paying probably another $20 in shipping, depending on what you buy. And you're not going to be able to find their releases anywhere else. So if these are super intriguing to you, check out Black Zero. Everybody that has supported them, that knew what they were getting, were very happy. That's about all I can say.
So something I love though about physical media, even if this isn't my jam at all, it's fantastic that something like this is even put on disc and released. Like,
yep.
That's awesome. I don't care if something's the worst movie in the world. I want it on disc. Like, that's awesome. So that's very cool.
This is basically a Criterion level box set for somebody that none of us know about.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Like, that's hard to argue with.
Yeah.
Next up from them is, see, I like this cover too. Field Trips by Richard Kerr. This is from 1988 to 2021. Canadian artist filmmaker Richard Kerr was raised in a north-south family near the American border. From a young age, he was preoccupied with the vision of empire reflected in American mass culture and sport. As he matured as a filmmaker, Kerr began to turn his attention increasingly to America as a subject, undertaking road trips through the American Southwest, studying the spirit of a landscape made for cinema. And so he's going to have on here The Last Days of Contrition, Cruel Rhythm, and Field Trip. And these are all restored 4K digital masters approved by Kerr himself. There's also a bonus film from 2004, new interview with the filmmaker, a video essay, documenting portrait of Kerr in his home studio, and some liner notes. Like, again, lots of stuff on this.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool, though. I mean, again, might not be my thing, but that's awesome it exists.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly. And I think, yeah, that's it.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
we'll talk about Tim's big thing in a second. That was a weird sentence. 3 release wave from Black Zero. This is the second time that they've done this. If you're going to get them, the first 3 still haven't sold out yet. So if you get a few that you're like, man, these sound great, buy a couple at once. Save yourself on the shipping, something to make it worth your while, to see if you're really into them before you go all in and be unhappy, or just buy one. And because of Canadian shipping and they're a little pricey, it's like $30 a release, I think. You're going a lot if you're only going in for one release. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, Tim's favorite. Film noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 18.
That's 18. I can't believe we're up to that. That is, I have a lot of them to still get. I have a chunk of them. What do I have? Like 7 of them? So only 11 more to go. But these sets are awesome, man. Everything I've seen from them have been, at worst, entertaining, and they're cheap. They're crazy cheap for what they are. I can't recommend any of these sets enough.
And the big thing with these sets is they're not coming with a booklet. It's not a limited slipcover, so you can just wait for one of the Kino sales and pick this up for $25.
Yeah,
$8 a movie. What are you going to argue with? That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one we got City of Shadows, we got Finger Man, we got Crash Out. Have you seen any of these 3?
None of them, and that's what I love. I haven't seen most of everything that's been in these film noir sets, but like I said, at worst, they've been entertaining enough.
I mean, what's to argue with on that?
Yeah,
entertaining enough.
Yeah, as long as I even if it's not all that memorable, if it entertained me for the hour and a half, I'm good. These are cool. I'm happy these exist. A lot of these things, if Kino didn't pick these up and release them, they would just be languishing on DVD or VHS even. Some of the stuff never even came to DVD.
That or Indicator would release them in like an 8-film box set, and it would be twice as much.
I do love Indicator, though, man.
Me too.
I do love Indicator.
Next up, hey, this is an exciting thing. Shelf Shock Rewind 2023 is happening. It is coming up soon, and we are scheduling this for, once again, the Sunday after Super Bowl Sunday. So I believe that is February 18th is when this is going to be happening next year. And it is time. I've been reaching out to a bunch of people to be on the Creator Selection Committee, including Tim here.
Yes.
And man, we are... I thought last year was exciting and big. This year is about to freaking explode. The number of people that have already responded and said they're in already dwarfs last year's like crazy.
That's awesome. That is so cool.
I cannot wait. We have a lot of neat ideas, and I don't think it's been said super publicly yet. So I will say now, co-host for Shelf Shock Rewind 2023 is going to be none other than Celeste De La Cabra, and I could not be more excited.
I love Celeste.
Celeste
awesome.
is amazing. We've got a ton of great ideas. There are a bunch of people that are on the CSC in the chat. You guys are fantastic. One of the things, though, that I didn't say, if you're a creator, if you've got a podcast, a YouTube channel, if you've got, if you submit items on discs, either I've already reached out to you and you've already said yes, or I've reached out to you and the email went to your junk mail, or if I didn't reach out to you and you want to be a part of it, send me an email and I will get you on the list. I will send you our poll. We'll make sure that you're in there and, you know, being able to put your opinion out there. It's going to be a massive year.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited.
Well, maybe that's a good time to, since we're already like halfway through the discussion on announcements. How do you feel about this year compared to last year in terms of all physical media? Because I know a lot of us last year, we were looking at it like it was massive. Like it was, this is the year that's going to dwarf everything. I almost feel like we've gotten more releases this year.
This year has been killer. It's been better though, even for Steelbooks, because I'm a big Steelbook guy. this has been an insane year for steelbooks. My goodness.
Yeah, it's been pretty great.
Yeah. Between even import ones that have come out and then even the US ones, like Lionsgate just keeps releasing, fire steelbook after fire steelbook, and oh my goodness.
For only $22.
Yeah. But even I'm loving Paramount is putting their steelbooks out just everywhere, which is fantastic. Yeah, I'm loving the steelbook game right now.
Next is Barnes & Noble Criterion sale is on now, and you can go to any of the in-store locations or buy online. That is up until December 4th, and as usual, it's 50% off the MSRP. So for Blu-rays, you're looking at $20, 4Ks $25, box sets ranging from $35 all the way up to $250-ish. Yeah. And some great releases, great prices. Can't wait to put in something because I still have not put in any order.
So I'm going to see what I get. The one thing I try to stress this to people too, we get 2 sales a year from Barnes & Noble themselves, plus we get the flash sales from Criterion themselves, all at 50% off. And Criterion is like 95% what's in print now will be in print next year. They only take stuff out of print if they lose the rights or something like that.
Yep.
So don't go crazy buying hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth. Whatever you don't get in this sale, you can get on the next one or the one after that. It's I never the FOMO isn't there with Criterion sales. It's get what I want to watch now, and I'll get more next time.
Yeah, there's not a ton that I'm clamoring for right now. The cool thing about the Barnes & Noble one each year is that you can do the they do the 50% off of pre-orders for what's coming out during this month too. Yeah. And there's 1 or 2 that I really want from this one. So
Mean Streets is, but I really want that Second Sight set.
I'm definitely doing Second Sight.
It's hard. Like, I love Criterion, but that's a Second Sight box set, man. That's hard to turn down.
I could not possibly argue with that. You are absolutely right. All right, what do we got next? We've got MVD Rewind. So this surprised the hell out of me. February 20th on Blu-ray, they are releasing Hardware Wars from 1978. This is a Star Wars parody that I still have in a VHS box about 10 feet away from me, and I'm astonished that this is getting a Blu-ray release. This is wild. For those that have never heard of this or checked it out, this is, first of all, very short. This is like it's like less than 20 minutes even, I think. That's really the big thing. Yes. Let me make sure I'm getting that. It might be 40 minutes on the long end, but if I remember right, it's very, very short. So yeah, it's 13 minutes long. And so I know hearing that, you're like, how are they putting that out on a Blu-ray? You got to look at everything that's on this disc. So on top of that, there is an audio commentary with the writer-director, a video commentary with the writer-director. There's a director's cut, which is only 10 minutes. There's a prequel featurette, which is another 5 minutes. There's a foreign version, which is 11 minutes. Then on top of that, they go through Hardware War Saves Christmas featurette, a trailer, an awards reel, but then they start adding other parodies that they've done. So they have Porklips Now, which is a 22-minute 1980 parody of Apocalypse Now. There's Plan 9.1 from Outer Space, which is 20 minutes, and it's a parody of Plan 9 from Outer Space, done with puppets. There's just so much on this disc that's great, and they actually made it worthwhile. This is fantastic.
You know, this is making me think of I've never seen this or even actually heard of it, but it sounds like something I should totally watch. But I wonder if we could get weird stuff like this. Do you remember in the early 2000s those Thumb parodies like Thumbtanic and
Oh wow.
Imagine a box set of those.
A Thumb box set. Jeez. That was, I swear you just unlocked a memory bank somewhere. I've not thought of that in so long.
I wonder how many people in the comments have seen those before.
Wow. Wave says, I messaged Second Sight about the Mean Streets 4K this week to ask about their encoding, and they said it's going to be by Fidelity in Motion. So all the more reason to grab Second Sight over Criterion. I would agree there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the version I'm going with anyway. Second Sight is just incredible.
Dude says, amazing announcement. Has it ever had an official release? I only remember ever seeing it on a friend's crappy VHS in the 90s, and I think that was a bootleg. It did have an official VHS, but I think that was the only thing on the VHS. It was 14 minutes, and that's it.
Jeez.
This is hilarious. But the one that people are probably most excited about, they are releasing Joysticks from 1983 as well. This is coming out again on Blu-ray. Now, here's the hard thing about this release for me to get excited about it. It's got a fan commentary that they're putting on here with Eric Wilkinson from MVD Rewind, Heath from Serial at Midnight, and then Diabolic and Cauldron's Jesse Nelson. But other than that, this is the same exact disc as the Scorpion Blu-ray from 2015. Same scan, no new restoration work. That's kind of rough to hear.
All right, so I thought this sounded familiar. I think this is one that recently went into stock on Diabolic. I think it was like they must have found old copies sitting around. They were going for like $50 or something like that. Because I remember Bob was talking about he grabbed either this or another one. They had several kind of more obscure out of print titles in stock.
Yeah, I believe it was this one. I'm not sure if it was Diabolic or Grindhouse.
One of them. Yeah.
But yeah, this is the only thing great about this is they put a really nice slipcover on it, and after our conversation, that feels really funny to say. But by the time this comes out, the restoration will be 9 years old.
Yeah, I've never seen it before though, so I have no frame of reference at all. But I'm really digging that Atari artwork though for that last one. That's cool.
It's great art. Like I said, they're helping you buy it with some great art. And the crappy thing, though, is now that this is being released, that means no one else has the rights to this. This will probably be the only thing that we get for at least the next 5 years. And, like, again, I'm not complaining. I'm glad that people will have the opportunity to buy this because the old one has been out of print for a very long time. But I feel like we could have restored it. It didn't look incredible then. It's going to look 10 times worse with 2024 eyes on it. Like that's rough.
Yeah. I always gives people another chance at it though, at a cheaper price.
Yep. Can't complain too much. This one, brand new from 2023. We are getting a 4K and Blu-ray release of The Creator on December 12th. Once again, kind of a big deal because it's Disney. This is 20th Century Fox putting this out. And this actually has some special features. It has a 55-minute making of going on this. Hard to argue with that because we could have got nothing. Something definitely to be grateful for.
And it bombed pretty bad. So to get a 4K is cool because the not getting a 4K on Haunting in Venice, when that bombed, really annoys me. So I'm glad this is getting a 4K.
Not only did it bomb, but lots of people are saying that this is going to be like the newest cult classic immediate because it's that great of a film. I'm very eager to see this. I've heard it's incredible. Yeah, the Haunting of Venice thing still rubs me the wrong way too.
It does because especially the two movies before it were great 4Ks. Death on the Nile was an incredible 4K. Yeah. But as for this, Gareth Edwards makes not a lot of money go a long way. He kind of puts some of the other directors to shame where like they would probably take $200 million to create what I think this was like a $40 million movie or something. Like it wasn't really that much. Jeez. And it looks like a $200 million movie. It's kind of wild.
Next up, Bikini Beach from 1964 is getting a pressed mod Blu-ray from MGM on November 21st. This, to me, feels like a Tim movie.
It does. I've never seen it, but that cover just, yeah. That totally looks like something I'd buy.
It
Totally.
says, there are big waves crashing at Bikini Beach. The beach is close to becoming a retirement village, and a British pop star comes between Dee Dee and Frankie. Will it all be resolved by the end of summer vacation? Yeah,
That
we'll
totally
see.
sounds me. Yeah.
Well,
I'd
and
buy that.
they're releasing another one, but we have to talk about that in a minute because they waited a couple days to announce it. This week, I put up an interview with Jason Benet of Culture Shock Releasing. Check that out if you haven't. Then Dark Force, which we don't talk about a whole lot on this channel. They are putting out a 4K on Black Friday of Mirror Mirror from 1990 with Karen Black. This is one of those films that they've released multiple times, and now it's coming on 4K. Do you dabble in Dark Force at all?
No, I don't think I have any of them.
I would easily say you're smart for that. Not a bad choice. Next up, Severin has started to announce their Black Friday titles as well. First one, they are putting out The Church from 1989 on 4K. This is a Michele Soavi title, and it's not the only Soavi title that we are getting, so we will check out the next in just a moment. November 27th, Titans of Cult is releasing their next title, a 4K steelbook of Gladiator. I've had a lot of people ask, is this going to be a better disc than previous release? No, Titans of Cult only puts out special packaging. They don't do anything special for the discs. But what they do is make this a really nice release. So they are getting this out there with a sculpted pin of Maximus's helmet. There's going to be a collection of production photography from the set. There's a rigid Titan box around a steelbook case. And then it even has this little stand to be able to hold it up and display the steelbook. Titans of Cult, how many of those do you got?
Only like 3, but I dig their stuff. They're cool. Yeah. My only complaint with them is the plastic is kind of brittle when you're opening them up at the top. Like I have one that cracked, but otherwise they're nice releases.
They are, and they usually get like the pin on this is actually really cool. The little fancy object that they got, like they did I think they did one of the new Star Trek movies, and it came with like a little notepad or something like that. It was neat. It's a neat release. Yeah,
and they're priced well enough considering their steelbooks are mostly always great.
Yeah. Sibner says, I think they've done away with that plastic casing.
Oh, did they? Okay.
That was my least favorite part of their releases. So
yeah, because it might be my thing one that's kind of cracked at the top.
Yeah. I feel like on that one a lot of people's came damaged.
Yeah. But a nice steelbook though.
It's true. January 9th, Kino Lorber is releasing The Outside Man from 1972 on Blu-ray. This is going to have a new audio commentary by Howard S. Berger, friend of the channel, Steve Mitchell, and Nathaniel Thompson. This will also include the uncut version of The Outside Man in English and in French. They also got some trailers on here, reversible art, and the slipcover. Yeah, I mean,
I'm totally down for that, though. I saw when that one got announced. Roy Scheider is a really good actor. Everyone always thinks just Jaws, but the guy did good stuff outside of Jaws.
Yeah. Plus Anne Margaret, Jean-Louis Trintignant. This is a big one. Next up, one that a lot of people were surprised by. They are seeing a release on January 23rd from Carlotta Films. This is coming in the U.S. via Kino Lorber, but also Carlotta is releasing this in France themselves. They are putting out Jean Moreau Filmmaker, which is going to include Lumiere, The Adolescent, and Lillian Gish. These are from 76, 79, and 83. There are HD restorations of Lillian Gish and 4K restorations of the other two films with some archival interviews. And glad these are getting released. These sound pretty fantastic.
Yeah, that's very cool. And I actually never saw. I like Lillian Gish, so I didn't even know there was a documentary, to be honest.
Nice. All right. What is our next one? Coming at the end of December on Blu-ray in Canada from Raven Banner, Shin Ultraman from just last year, 2022. crazy looking slipcover on this. And then the blue on the inside is the same cover art that we've been seeing elsewhere. This is going to have a exclusive O card, all new English subs, new video master on a BD50 disc, plus an exclusive commentary by Alex Rushdie. And then Kevin Derendorf is going to be with him as well. There's a video introduction by Alex Rushdie as well. Did you ever watch Shin Ultraman?
No, I've never watched any Ultraman, to be honest. It doesn't look me, so I've never seen any.
Are you into kaiju stuff at all? Godzilla or any of those?
I am. I like Godzilla, but for some reason, I don't know. I've watched trailers on Ultraman stuff, and it just, I don't know. Which weird. I like Power Rangers and I like Godzilla, but I just never had an interest in Ultraman.
Interesting. I mean, if people are into it, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it either. I got to be honest. Some of it is good, but yeah, it's not. I've never been huge into kaiju. I don't know. It's tough. No, Craig, they did not credit the artist, unfortunately.
I hate when artists aren't credited. It's one of my like pet peeves because as I mentioned, I collect a lot of posters, but I'm really into like screen print posters a lot, which have more modern artists, and many of them do artwork that we see on steelbooks now. People like Matt Ryan Tobin and Sarah Deck, which Tula Lotte, we just saw hers for Barbarella, for Arrow. But some of these places don't credit the artist, and that bugs the hell out of me because their art is what's helping to sell your item. Like, I know you paid them, but come on, credit them.
I am always glad to see two of arguably probably the biggest boutiques out there, Criterion and Vinegar Syndrome. They literally always credit the artist for the slipcovers. It's so nice to see that.
Yeah.
Next up, Nico from Cult Epics has launched a GoFundMe to raise funds for a documentary on Roz Williams from Christian Death. There's a new documentary film that Nico is going to be helping with, and he's looking for some editing and post-production funds. And again, it's a GoFundMe, not a Kickstarter, so you're not going to be getting anything back for it. But if you want to fund something because you're into it, check it out. Just wanted to help spread the word. Man, as we're talking about how good 2023 is, we just got another announcement about a new label called Celluloid Dreams. And the big thing, they are putting out a 4K of the Giallo, the Case of the Deadly Iris from 1972. This is pretty damn cool. From their website, it says, over the past few months, we have been hand-picking underserved movies we cherish so we can allow more viewers to experience these films in the best possible quality. We will give these films the respect, love, and care they deserve with brand new transfers and restorations to ensure they do not only match today's home video standards, but to help preserve them for future viewers and help rescue them from potential deterioration and obscurity. They are going through final restoration steps for our initial release, a Blu-ray 4K combo of a beloved film that seems to be the case of The Bloody Iris. Packed with bonus materials, old and new. Keep your eyes open for more info as we will soon reveal and officially announce full details and specs for that release, which is scheduled for the first quarter of 2024. All of their stuff, they're saying it's going to be region code for region A when it's a Blu-ray, unless otherwise noted. There's going to be free shipping from their store if you are ordering domestically in the US over $50. And because of licensing arrangements, they can only ship directly to the US and Canada, which is frustrating. This is a US-based label, and I really hope people check them out when they get announced.
Yeah. I've never heard of the movie before, but you said it's a Giallo?
It is a Giallo, and it's pretty damn good. It's one that people might have on one of the old Shameless Blu-rays, the yellow case Blu-rays. Not high quality. I think they put that out. It's one that it deserves to be replaced.
I need to dive more into Giallos. I've only seen a couple, and I've been kind of mixed. I've liked some, haven't liked others. Someone recommended New York Ripper to me, and I hated New York Ripper so much, man.
It's not a Giallo. That's why.
Oh, that's not?
No, not really.
See, that's I don't know much about that genre at all. And when
I mean, it's got some of the tropes, but I wouldn't put it firmly in that genre.
I hated that movie.
Those are fighting words in this part. Barry is happy with Canadian shipping. That's good. All right. Next up, Radiance. Speaking of, as we talked about Messiah of Evil earlier, they announced their next round of titles. February 26th in the UK, February 27th in the US and Canada. We are getting a Blu-ray of Black Tight Killers from 1966. And I got to say, this sounds amazing, and I'm not sure how I've never seen this. This says, after wooing stewardess Yoriko, war photographer Hondo sees her kidnapped by a team of deadly female assassins who use vinyl records as weapons. Investigating her whereabouts, Hondo uncovers a conspiracy to steal a buried stash of World War II era gold. Soon he must dodge go-go dancing ninjas and chewing gum bullets to save Yoriko, whose family secret is tied to the hidden treasure. Every bit as stylish and inventive as the wildest works by his mentor, Seijun Suzuki, Yasuharu Hasebe's spy spoof is a gaudy 1960s pop delight that ranks with the likes of Joseph Losey's Modesty Blythe and Mario Bava's Danger Diabolic. I said one of those words wrong, and I apologize. I was reading quickly. This is going to have an audio commentary by Jasper Sharp, who's fantastic, archival interview with the director, some English subs, of course, limited edition booklet with new writing by Japanese cinema expert Chris D. And that's Radiance in a nutshell. Great sounding title. And
that artwork is killer.
Can't wait to see this. Yeah, this looks amazing. Even without the Obi strip, like that's a great looking cover.
Yeah, it really is.
Sardis says, I cry after every Radiance announcement, not enough money to keep up. Will says, New York Ripper is not a giallo, and it's awesome. Quack, quack, motherfuckers.
Yeah, like I said, I have to learn more about giallos. I don't know a whole lot on them at all. But the duck aspect, man, I can't stress how much I hated that movie. Like, there's movies that that wasn't my cup of tea, and there's movies like I want my hour and a half back. I hated it. So
I will happily say I don't love New York Ripper either. It's not my favorite Fulci. It's not even in my top 5. I don't hate it, but yes, I get it.
Yeah, it was so not my cup of tea.
Next up from Radiance, same dates, same thing, Blu-ray, also UK and US. The big thing that's different, this will only be coming as a limited edition. This one will not be getting a standard edition. So if you want a Lanzen fan, you're going to want this sooner than later. This is the 1974 Taviani Brothers films. And this gets a new 2K restoration from the OCN. Audio commentary by Michael Brook, some archival interviews with Taviani brothers by Gideon Bachman. We got newly translated subs, a reversible sleeve, a booklet with new writing by Italian cinema expert Robert Lumley, and a newly translated contemporary interview with the Taviani brothers. Again, limited only. This will not have a standard edition, only 3,000 copies.
Again, nice artwork.
Yeah, very nice. Radiance is always great. Always great. Finally from Radiance, this one is UK only, February 26th. This is By a Man's Face Shall You Know Him. And man, do they know how to sell a film, because I read this and immediately wanted to see this movie. This says, a community struggles against immigrant gangs in the ruins of post-war Tokyo. Only Dr. Amamiya can save them, but he had enough fighting in the war. His pacifism is severely tested by the gang's increasingly outrageous taunts, and when his neighbors decide to take matters into their own hands, Amamiya is forced to take action. The consequences prove to be much more far-reaching than he could ever foresee. With the story spread across 3 time periods, Tai Kato's ambitious revision of the Yakuza movie was one of the first films to tackle the tattoo subject of Japan's Korean nationals, greatly influencing later directors such as Kinji Fukasaku and Takashi Miike. This sounds incredible.
That does sound really freaking good.
So this is going to have a visual essay on Noboru Ando by Nathan Stewart, appreciation on filmmaker Kenta Fukusaku. There's some newly translated subs, limited edition booklet with new writing on the film, and yeah, that's what we got for this one.
I'm
Sounds like
afraid
it's
after I
good.
watched this Messiah of Evil going deep down into Radiance, though. I'm afraid of it because I've stayed away right now because I keep hearing how great they are, but I'm afraid of going down a rabbit hole.
Good luck. It's they do great stuff. Let's see. That original 3-year Radiant sub looks like the deal of the decade, what they've been doing, and I agree fully. So jealous of the people that got on all that. Next up, the next announcement from Severin is Cemetery Man on 4K coming on Black Friday of this year. This is again a Michele Soavi title, and this is going to be a 4-disc set, 2 4Ks, a Blu-ray, and a CD, which means it's going to be pricey probably. But man, can I not wait to get this title.
I know nothing about it.
This is another title that was released by Shameless that looked awful on their Blu-ray and will be a wonderful upgrade from Severin, guaranteed.
I'm getting schooled on the horror stuff, though, here. I don't know a lot of the stuff that's coming up.
Totally get that. Here's more up your alley, I'm sure.
That's Rock Hudson. That's more up my alley.
January 9th, Kino is releasing Has Anybody Seen My Gal from 1952, not only with Rock Hudson, but also with Piper Laurie, which is a big deal considering she just passed. And this is a really interesting thing because not only is she in this film, there's a new audio commentary with Piper on it that was moderated by Lee Gambin. And they recorded this, as far as I'm aware, somewhere in last summer. And this is the type of thing that physical media is really out here to do. Imagine if this was not being released and Piper just passed. We never would have heard her talking about this film. I cannot wait to pick this up and listen to that commentary.
Yeah, Douglas Sirk with Rock Hudson. I'm so beyond in. Douglas Sirk is freaking great. That may or may not come up with Criterion in a bit. But yeah, I'm so in.
Nice. Will says he loves this. Sardis has never seen this one. Craig is saying, I can hear the guy in the upper left saying, fabulous. Next up, The Road to Hong Kong from 1962 with Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, and Joan Collins, coming on January 9th on Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. New audio commentary on this one by Michael Schlesinger. And how about this one? Is this one that you're into?
Again, that's something that's totally up my alley. Yeah, I like Bob Hope a lot. So just that when you're talking 40s, 50s, 60s, a lot of this is me.
I'm going to be the a-hole then. I can't stand Bob Hope.
Oh, you don't like Bob Hope? Oh,
not even a little bit. So, yeah, I am not looking forward to this one. And not to mention, this looks ridiculously racist. I'm sure it's great to watch and look back on with I don't want to say fond memories, but with memories.
It is crazy though how you view things now. Like I love Breakfast at Tiffany's. Freaking love it. Mickey Rooney's character is so stereotypically racist. He's awful. Insane. I watched it again and I'm like, this is insane. Like you could just write his character out of the movie and it improves it. But anyways, I love that movie. But yeah, it's crazy.
Stan says Bob Hope was the Tom Hanks of his time. Don't you slander Tom Hanks' name like that. Oh God, I can't stand Jerry Lewis either. Jerry Lewis is terrible. I hate Jerry Lewis. Going from classy to trashy. February 6th, Full Moon is releasing Voodoo Passion on Blu-ray from 1977. This is the Jess Franco film. This is going to include director Jess Franco. Their copy, they have James Franco. that's really funny that I didn't catch that the first time. Director Jess Franco vintage trailer reel, the original Voodoo Passion German trailer, rare photo slideshow, Franco Bloody Franco audio interview with Jess. I love that they fixed it then as well. Man, I knew everybody was going to be commenting towards Will. Will loves Jess Franco. Oh gosh, I can almost guarantee, Tim, you've never seen a Jess Franco film, have you?
No. It's funny. You could pretty much guess the types of stuff that I would and wouldn't watch or haven't watched. Yeah, no, never seen a Jess Franco movie.
Well, I'm glad that they're putting this out on Blu-ray because we can finally see it in DVD quality. That's great. December 4th on Blu-ray in the UK, a boutique called Lightbulb Films is releasing Welcome to the Darkness, and this is about the band The Darkness, which I love, and I really want to check this out. This sounds great. This is with unprecedented access, unseen archive footage, and intimate interviews filmed over 8 years. Welcome to the Darkness is a tongue-in-cheek reflection on fame, failure, friendship, and forgiveness. I'm also a sucker for music documentaries, so I'm dying to see this.
I'm totally into this. I just picked up their debut record. Finally came to vinyl, and I picked that thing up. Oh my god! I Believe in a Thing Called Love was played to death, and I still love that song.
It's an incredible song. Incredible. Next up, one that I have been waiting to come to Blu-ray for almost a full year. February 6th, MVD is releasing Candyland from 2022. I've been dying to see this, and I knew that it was going to get a physical release eventually. It's finally coming. Can't wait to check this out. Zach from They Live by Film loved this movie and says this was like X, but slightly worse and a lot trashier. That sounds fantastic, I got to admit.
Sure.
I love some trash, so I get it. Cohen Media Group is putting out via Kino 2 British wartime classics directed by Lewis Gilbert. We have The Sea Shall Not Have Them and Albert R.N. These are coming on January 23rd on Blu-ray via Cohen. And you can pre-order these now.
Something I would probably pick up at some point on a sale.
Have you gotten much from Cohen yet?
I only have a few.
No, it seems like there's not many people that go all in on them. They've got some great titles. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
They do really good with their restoration work, too.
It really sold me, though, with British war films, too, because I especially love... So there's so much focus when it comes to like World War II on the American perspective.
Yep.
And I like seeing the other perspectives, the British perspective especially. They were in it before us. It's just so much of it is focused on when we entered it.
Yep. I agree there. Next up is a pretty interesting one. I did not expect this coming. December 12th, 4K from Sony Pictures. They are putting out School Days from 1988, the Spike Lee joint. This is going to have a bunch of, I think, all of the archival bonus features from the last release, but this is a 35th anniversary release, and it's Sony, so I'm pretty sure this is going to look fantastic in 4K.
They should have let Criterion have it, though.
Yeah, they probably should have, even though, honestly, it'll probably look better on Sony, but Criterion would have, get all those Spike joints together.
Yeah, especially since Criterion focuses so much. Like, they get a certain director or actor, and they kind of keep running with them the best they can. That would have been cool, and KB really wants a Criterion Spike box set.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, Kino has 4 of his films, I think, too. So we'd have to get 1 or 2 of those at least, because, man, I love a couple of the ones that Kino has.
Yeah.
Next up, from Sony, they are putting out a pressed mod Blu-ray as part of the Sony Pictures Classics line of Pollock from 2000. This is great. I've not seen this in a very long time, but this is directed by and starring Ed Harris. It's about the legendary American painter Jackson Pollock. This is going to have the Ed Harris commentary, a making of documentary, Charlie Rose interview with Ed Harris, and fully deserving of the Sony Pictures Classics line. You said yep. How do you feel about this one?
Oh, it's a great movie. I haven't seen it in quite a while, VHS days, but yeah, great movie.
Yeah, this is astonishing. If you've not ever seen Pollock, highly recommend it. Ed Harris is sorely underrated. Dude is great.
It's great in everything.
I
I've
love
always liked him.
Craig
But
says that right after.
look at that cast, though. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
freaking awesome cast.
Yep. Marcia Gay Harden. No, Brian, this has not had any other Blu-ray yet. I believe this is the first one at all. Yeah, this cast is great. Val Kilmer, Jennifer Connelly, Amy Madigan, but God, Marcia Gay Harden is always great too.
Yeah.
This is the other one I was talking about, and man, this movie sounds wild. 1964's Pajama Party is coming on Blu-ray from MGM. Listen to this story. When a Martian scout named Gogo is sent to explore Earth for a possible conquest, he lands in the middle of a wild teenage pajama party, giving Mars second thoughts about invasion and turning the party into an out-of-this-world cosmic shindig. What? What?
That sounds awful and awesome at the same time, and I'm so in for something like that.
This is just weird. Yeah, I might have to get that one. Next Severin title. This was announced today. They're putting out a Blu-ray of Closed Circuit from 1978, and man, I read a synopsis for this today that I am going to have to share with everybody because it made this sound like an incredible film. So Blake Monahan, who I think he does some work for Severin as well, he says, I think it plays like if the movie Demons was a thriller with Ray Bradbury vibes.
What?
That sounds fantastic.
I loved Demons, by the way. That was such a
nice. I'm glad you like that.
That was a recommendation to me, and I went in like, is this really going to be my thing? But dude, the whole vibe of it, the music, that was good. That was really good. Good
stuff. Next up, Run and Kill pre-orders are finally happening for Air 4444. Did I say 4 or 3? Okay. Yeah, Air 4444. Those are happening tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we got some bundles and artwork to talk about here. But the first thing, Run and Kill. This is going to be a region-free pressed Blu-ray on a 50 gig disc. This is going to include a slipcover, a double-sided slipcover with new artwork by Matthew James and Vlad Rodriguez, a booklet with an essay, photos, and ad artwork, 3 stickers, a reversible artwork, Blu-ray sleeve, and then we got a new 2K restoration on that, audio commentary by Kenneth Borson and Philip Gillen of the Podcast on Fire Network, audio commentary by Bruce Holchek of Cinema Arcana and Art Edinger from Ultraviolent Magazine, Run and Kill on location done by CFK, which is the Crazy for Kong crew. And then The Kids Aren't All Right, a video essay by one Erica Schultz from Unsung Whores and Someone's Favorite Productions, who's watching tonight. I cannot wait to watch this video essay. Erica is amazing and loves watching kids die in movies. So can't wait to see this visual essay. Let's see the next one. Of course, they're also putting out Scissor Penis.
Oh my God. What is this? What is this?
Scissor Penis. Don't ask questions, just purchase. I mean, look at that.
Oh my God.
This is going to have a double-sided slipcover, a booklet with essay, photos, and ad artwork, 3 stickers, reversible art, Blu-ray sleeve, and then we've got an interview with the director, interview with an actress, introductions by both of them as well, conversation, a UFO short film that's 14 minutes long, a video essay by Matthew Rowe that's 38 minutes long, and then a Tomomatu trailer show for 14 minutes, and it looks like a solid release, $36 for that one. The trailer for that looks wild. If you've never checked it out, you probably should before you purchase.
Everyone says don't judge a book by its cover, but I'm judging and I'm passing, man. Scissor Penis will not be in my collection.
That's understandable. However, I will say everybody should probably check out Run and Kill. This looks like an incredible release for this. And just to tease a little bit, one of the extras on here is the CFK on location video. Coming up on my channel on Monday is an interview with many of the dudes from the CFK crew. And I've got behind the scenes pictures, some videos that they're letting me share. I've got wild conversations about how they met, throwing up on their shoes under a table in a bar. There's some hilarious stories. I cannot wait to share this interview with everybody. It was filmed like 2.5 months ago, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Please check it out next week. It's a great interview. But also, they're selling a couple bundles if you want to go even further. For $90, you can get both films. You've got new art, old art slipcover. You've got a 2-sided slipcover that comes with the original release. You've got 3 double-sided posters. And then on top of that, a condom case with 2 condoms, Tim. 2 condoms, Tim.
Oh,
Just after we're done, give me your address and I'll send you some condoms.
Oh my God.
If that's not enough for you, though, they also have this $200 bundle limited to 25 pieces, including a 6-inch handcrafted and painted figure. Don't worry, you still get the condom case, but you get this little 6-inch figure that's hand carved. Like, that's pretty impressive, but also it's $200.
Pass.
$200, Tim.
Yeah, no, pass.
$200.
Oh, man.
Thankfully, we're ending on the note of Scissor Penis. That was the last announcement.
What a way to end the announcements with Scissor Penis.
It's kind of odd that they're selling condoms with a movie called Scissor Penis. How, as far as I'm aware, condoms wouldn't work in that situation.
I would think not.
Wave says, Ryan, are you getting either of the titles? Absolutely am I getting Run and Kill. I will get anything that Erica Schultz is on and support one of my closest friends and allies in this space because she's amazing.
But no Scissor Penis.
I'm not super into it. Again, everybody needs to go watch the trailer. It looks wild. It's not the what's the best way to say this? There's a lot of modern Asian exploitation films that don't fall into the genre of. It seems like they're doing it again, like The Room. Everybody that loves Wiseau's The Room is because he set out to make a good movie and it ended up as a piece of shit.
Yeah.
When you're setting out to make, like, let's make a crazy fun B movie that's full of exploitation called Scissor Penis. Like, I'm not super into it. I like the idea of the movie, but it's not B grade enough. It's you trying to make a really nice, but also terrible movie called Scissor Penis. And it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that is definitively nothing that would interest me. Like, not even sort of.
Let's keep talking about Scissor Penis for 30 more minutes. No. At this point,
Korean movies. Let's just talk Scissor Penis.
At this point, we always talk about what is coming out next week, just in case you forgot. Next week is Duel on 4K, Last Picture Show 4K from Criterion. That gorgeous Duel 4K Steelbook. It will be mine. Rudy 4K Steelbook, Blue Steel from Vestron, as we discussed earlier. Terms of Endearment 4K from Paramount Presents. That shiny new Bone Tomahawk Steelbook that a lot of places have had in for weeks, so it's weird that the release date is tomorrow or next Tuesday. Sonny Chiba Collection Volume 2, Equalizer 3, 2 Days in the Valley. I think that one's Kino. We got The Expanse, the complete collection, The Nun 2, which I do not recommend. Color Out of Space 4K Steelbook. I've got the movie, but the Steelbook looks really nice.
So I actually got rid of my copy of the movie because I knew that Steelbook was coming, and that's a weird movie, but I dug it a lot.
It's a great movie, yeah.
Yeah, I dug it.
Dude says still need to order that dual Steelbook. Do you know if it's limited print? I'm sure it is, but it's wide enough where you can it'll probably be in stock for at least a few more weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how that is. 8 Mile still up even, because that was a Groove exclusive.
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me see if I can pull it up, because last I checked it was still in stock. And no. Oh wait. No. Nope, they have pulled the page for it.
Okay.
So
all right.
I would get it sooner than later.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of time, but it will eventually sell out.
Deaf Crocodile is asking, anyone seen Color Out of Space? I'm curious. Again, yes, it's a very good Lovecraft movie, directed by Stanley, if that bothers you. I know that he had some allegations of being a wife beater and stuff, but Color Out of Space is fun. Nicolas Cage does great in that, of course.
Some cool body horror in it too.
Absolutely. Full Body Massage from Unearthed Films coming out next week. Neon City from Kino. The Man Who Killed Hitler, and then the Bigfoot. I believe that's a 4K Steelbook. This is the first time I think it's been released on 4K in the US. I think we only had Blu-ray previously. Guarding Test coming out on Blu-ray. Werewolves Within Blu-ray Steelbook next week as well. Love that movie. And if you have been interested in Werewolves Within and you've never seen it, I interviewed the director, Josh Rubin, on the channel. You can go back and check out that interview. Fun dude. He is fantastic. Psycho Goreman Steelbook next week. Tim's already had the Twilight Saga 5 movie 4K Steelbook set pre-order for months, I'm sure.
The one right next to it, though, I think is like what I'm most excited for with that. The Leave It to Beaver. Getting the whole complete series.
It's a big deal.
That's awesome, man. TV shows have been getting a lot of love as of late on Blu-ray, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, I fully agree there. Rapa Nui from Warner Archive, Justified, that new little mini series that they did, City Primeval. That one's coming out on Blue next week. Spirit Away live on stage from Shout and G Kids. I think I need to pick that one up. In Love and War from Warner Archive, Fog of War. That one is one that I need to get eventually as well. Arizona 4K Steelbook, Short Circuit 2. Lots of stuff coming out next week. I Kill Giants Steelbook, Vesper Steelbook, Dr. Caligari 4K from Mondo Macabro. Yeah. This is that big RLJ E-Wave that was announced like 2 months ago, all hitting at once. We were talking about Ultraman earlier. You can get the whole Ultra 7 55th anniversary anthology, which has pretty much everything in this. You might want to check that out. Computer Chess from Kino Lorber. The Aviator's Wife from Kino as well. Some standards, some anime, and that's pretty much the big ones.
Re-releases and
yeah. What's your big one for next week that you're going after, or that you already got?
All right, so Leave It to Beaver is I think I have to wait till after the con to buy it for the price it is. Yeah. So that's the one I'm most excited for. But I think Duel is the one I'm most excited for that I could actually get for release. Because I'm pumped for Duel, man. I love that movie. I put it in my top 5 of all Spielberg. Like, I love that movie.
Sibner says, Ryan, let's not forget that $1,200 Disney set. People want to know. I believe that's $1,500 Disney set.
Yeah, that set is so astronomically stupid. Because there's a UK set that has most of that in it for, what is it? It's like 500, 600 you could get it for? What is the point of this US set? It's terrible.
I really do not understand it. So that is this last week of announcements and next week's releases. And now we are here just for the two of us. And we're going to be talking about some Criterion stuff.
Yes.
So the first thing, I guess, how many Criterion releases do you have, sir?
In total?
Yeah, ballpark.
So it's right there. That is there. That whole thing is Criterion, besides like a couple of stray arrows that didn't fit, but otherwise that's all Criterion. So I don't know, it's 100 and something besides the ones that are pulled out on the floor and next to me. And
Yeah, I probably got around like 130, 140. Nothing massive, but still quite a few.
Yeah.
Criterion, great titles for the most part. Almost everything that they put out is incredibly beloved movies that are known to be some of the best. They were like the original boutique label. They started a lot of these audio commentaries to get them popular. They have shown a lot more care for stuff than many of these other boutiques ever will. And yet they've also kind of let themselves go a little bit in the last few years, I would say. I think that they've been passed in quality by some boutique labels, but they still have a lot to love. And I think that they are up there for top 10 boutique labels of all time, still undoubtedly. It's not even really a debate. They're honestly probably top 5. But a lot of their stuff kind of gets recommended into the ground. You hear about, oh gosh, you hear about The Princess Bride all the damn time. And it just got a 4K and it looks great and it's a great release and you should have that. But we don't want to talk about Princess Bride. We want to talk about stuff that most people don't talk about. So we each got 5 titles. We're going to go through them and share some love for some films. So Tim, why don't you share your first one?
All right. So the first one. So I don't know how much do you like 12 Monkeys?
I like 12 Monkeys a lot.
Okay. So Criterion wise, this double feature, specifically this Le Jetée, is a 1960s black and white silent film told in just pictures. And it is the inspiration for this. Like if you watch Le Jetée, you're going to be like, oh, damn. Like I totally see where they got the inspiration and the ideas for 12 Monkeys. So while this isn't like considered, I don't think, a straight up remake, a lot of it comes from this. It's really damn good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good recommendation.
Short, it's only 27 minutes long. It's all told in moving or still images besides one moving image at the very end. Otherwise, it's just black and white still images are the story. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's a much deeper cut than all 5 of mine, like I said. I chose 5 that are not harped on enough, but 5 that I absolutely love. One is going to be this first one, very different than a silent film of just black and white, not moving images. I'm going to go with the incredible Broadcast News. This has maybe my favorite dialogue in all cinematic history. And I say that meaning every sense of that word. And that's a very, very strong sentence. And I know that. The dialogue in this is genuine. It's real. The chemistry that comes with it is built in a way that feels so authentic. Some incredible performances on here. Overall, just an amazing drama. Like this movie is hilarious. This movie is heartfelt and poignant. If you've never seen Broadcast News, which doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to these Criterion sales, this movie is a masterpiece. I adore this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of wild what does get, like, there's these select movies that will get recommended into the ground, and then there's some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about. Yep. Even though I feel like some of my pile I've personally recommended into the ground, but this is a different audience of people that might not have heard me recommend these into the ground.
That's exactly how I feel about this next title that I'm going to talk about.
So I am going to go with next, and anyone that watches my channel, you've heard me talk about this one, but I don't care. I adore Summertime. I love this movie so much, and this one does not get talked about near as much. Even when you talk Katharine Hepburn, you're hearing other stuff like Bringing Up Baby and some other stuff she's in that gets more love. Summertime is a very simple movie. It's just her in her 50s deciding to finally take a trip by herself. She's going in Venice, and the first 40 minutes of the movie is literally just her on vacation. You're just taking in the scenery with her. Yep. And then she ends up falling in love with the married man. And it is so bittersweet by the end. The cinematography is outstanding. This is a David Lean movie. It's fantastic. I hype this one up so freaking much. More people need to see it. It's a vibe though. That's what I've heard it described as. It's a vibe movie. You either love that there's very little story or you hate it. My wife hates it. She hated this movie. But I adore it. It's fantastic. You're just so in the mood. And God, the cinematography is so outstanding. They almost shot this on a set, and he demanded it shot on location in Venice.
Thank goodness.
Worth it all the way. It's so good.
That's a good pick. And again, not one that everybody talks about. Everybody talks about the same handful of titles, and that does not ever get mentioned. This one, the filmmaker has multiple films in the collection, and I think this is his most underrated Criterion film. And again, if you watch his channel a lot, you've heard me talk about this movie, but it's that time of the year, and I don't think enough people are checking out John Waters' Polyester.
Nice.
This movie,
it
is signed.
Oh.
Divine in this movie is simply divine. Everything about this is pretty damn close to peak John Waters, I think. Some of the funniest scenes that he's ever been able to get down, biggest budget that he had at the time because this is the first studio film. Really, really great performances throughout. Some of the just weirdest situations, and then going through the whole process of getting the Criterion, and then of course that comes with the Odorama card and doing it the right way. This release is so damn worth it. I think this is easily the best Criterion John Waters title, and everybody always wants to talk about Pink Flamingos. But man, this movie, I think this is the Criterion John Waters to get.
So you're kind of selling me on watching my copy that I've had in my collection for a while. I got it in a trade from someone. He had not much I wanted, but he had that. And I'm like, it's a Criterion. I guess I'll take that. And it's just been sitting in the collection. I've never gotten around to watching it.
I think everybody should. It is a role for for Divine that is just so odd, playing this housewife that is going through everything. It's such a weird movie. Love Polyester.
Nice. Okay, so and we are recommending stuff here that people generally don't talk about.
So far, so good.
Pink Flamingos is by far what people talk about with him, and I think part of it's because it has a pretty slip on it that looks like a bag. But yeah. Anyways.
Well, I can't reach it. I was going to show. I've got that one signed too.
All right. So for my next one, before I was kind of oogling with Douglas Sirk and Rock Hudson together, because I am a big fan also of Magnificent Obsession. Nice. Also a Sirk movie with Rock Hudson. This movie, it's a melodrama that it's crushing but poignant. It's basically they're on a small little island, and her husband is the doctor on the island, and he's a rich guy that he's rich. He gets to do whatever the hell he wants because he's rich. He ends up crashing a boat, needs the one respirator that's on the island, while the same time the doctor needs it because he's dying. There's only one. So of course the rich guy gets it so that the husband ends up dying. And then the whole movie is him trying to pretty much make it up to her and fall in love with her. Really good movie, like fantastic movie. He has great character growth, which is, I guess, part of it because rich people are assholes. And he ends up actually becoming a good person by the end of the movie. In the start of the movie, you hate him. He's just a rich dick, but by the end, he's great.
Great cover on that one too.
It really is. So really loved this movie. Like, I seriously can't recommend this one enough.
Nice. My next one I talked about a little bit on the channel last year because I interviewed the director, and I got to highlight Sean Baker's Takeout. This movie, it knows like how to gut me quickly. My day job, for those that don't know, I work for immigration, and to tell a good immigrant story and to have somebody that is dealing with paying off some of the debt from moving over here, Our main character that you see here on the cover goes to a loan shark, and he owes a shit ton of money, and they come to collect and basically say, by sundown you have to pay us back, or we're gonna beat the crap out of you. And unfortunately, he works his tail off all day to get this, and this tells the story of him covering shifts, biking through the rain to take people their money, to get shafted on tips. And it has just the most realistic, like, kind of, it's not super realistic obviously because it's done in this fantastical way, but it's done, it tells the story in a way that you just are so emotionally invested that if he gets it, you're going to feel this immense freedom, and if he doesn't get it, you're going to be gutted alongside with them, and it takes you on every step of that. I still think Sean Baker is a master storyteller in modern filmmaking, and this is a great release. A lot of good special features on it, and they really dove deep with Sean to get as much as they could. So it's a great release. I love Takeout.
Yeah. So that's on my list because I will say Florida Project is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, A24 movie. So I like Sean Baker. Florida Project was amazing. So Takeout's been kind of on the list to eventually pick up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
These are really good picks. Trying to think. I actually pulled like 7 or 8, so I'm trying to decide. All right, so next one. Lots of people love Laura Dern. I love Laura Dern. She's amazing in Jurassic Park. I'm not talking Jurassic Park. Smooth Talk needs more love. It's a hard movie to categorize because the first probably half to 3/4 of it is a coming of age movie for Laura Dern, as she's coming to find her sexuality and she's kind of battling her mom. She's at odds with her mom. But Treat Williams' character kind of comes into it, and you don't know anything about him, but he's a sleazeball creep, and stuff starts to happen. This turns from like a coming of age into kind of like a thrillery type thing. It's so weird. It's so good. Like my jaw was on the floor by the end of this thing because it leaves it pretty open. I think I know which way my mind says it went, but it's a really freaking great movie. Laura Dern is fantastic. She's like 14 or 15 in this movie. Like she's
so young.
Yeah. So you saw this one?
Oh yeah. I adore Laura Dern as well. There's not a lot of films from her that I would not recommend very quickly. She is one that I don't even remember. It was probably Jurassic Park that I saw first, but Wild at Heart maybe just took me from like, oh yeah, she's pretty good, to holy shit, can she act?
Yeah. So when you watched Smooth Talk, did you know much about it going in, or anything?
I knew nothing going in.
Were you also like, what the hell, when it took the tonal shift? I was like, oh my god. But that's so
the thing. Who else could have pulled that off though?
Yeah.
Laura Dern is the perfect thing. She portrays emotion so well.
Yeah.
So well.
Yep. So I loved that one. And I've always loved Treat Williams also. And to see him play just it's icky. That's what it is. It makes you feel icky by the end.
Oh god, these are really good picks. I'm proud of us, Tim. We've done great tonight. Okay, next one is from a really solid year of film, and I talked about this fairly recently, and I kind of just wanted to highlight it again tonight, because if you missed that last episode, people need to know about 1997's Eve's Bayou.
Ooh, I picked that up last sale. I gotta watch that still.
This movie that takes all of this just gorgeous scenery of New Orleans and takes the witch understory, the voodoo understory that always seems to be a part of what you hear about some of these tales around New Orleans, and brings this just pitch perfect cast into this devastating drama that is at heart, like, if you're just explaining the synopsis to somebody, it comes off as a horror story. It doesn't play like a horror story. It plays more as like this intense drama. But the acting in this film is the best thing about it. It delivers on every single level. Eve's Bayou is a gift, and people should be looking at it as an acting masterclass from everybody in it. It tells an incredible story, and if you've never seen it, again, easy to overlook. It came out around Titanic. It came out and was unfortunately kind of pushed to the side, primarily because it's a mostly black cast, and it's just so freaking perfect. That movie's amazing, and if you've never seen it, put it on your list.
Sadly, I think with the most recent announcements from Criterion, Mudbound was announced, and I loved Mudbound, and like nobody was talking about it from that announcement. It was basically every other release but Mudbound, and that's, I guess, same thing with Eve's Bayou. Like, it's basically just kind of pushed to the side because I'm going to champion Mudbound when it's out, and no one's going to care. Like, it's a fantastic movie.
Yep. Good pick. All right, sir. We're on our last ones.
All right. You know what? All right, screw it. I'm going to go with this one because I love James Stewart. This one came and went, and no one mentions Flight of the Phoenix now.
So quickly.
So good. This is a great movie. It's an oil, what would you call it? An oil yard or whatever is being shut down, and he's the pilot. He has to take everybody back, and the plane ends up crashing, and they're trapped in the desert for weeks trying to figure out how to get out. This had a remake in like 2005 with Dennis Quaid. If so, maybe people remember that version, but this version is really freaking great. Not only James Stewart, who kind of plays, he's kind of a dick, which is unusual for him. He's normally kind of the likable everyman, and he's kind of a dick in this. And you more so like his co-pilot, which is Richard Attenborough, again going with some Jurassic Park here. Younger Richard Attenborough. Really freaking great movie, man. It's so good. I don't know why this came and went so fast, and it even has a little buildable paper airplane.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why this one came and went. I don't get it. No one.
It really did. Like, obviously, when it got announced, people talked about it for a good day and a half, and that was it. That's one I don't have it, and I've not seen it. I need to check it out. It's always funny when you get Stewart playing. Would you call it an anti-hero in that?
Kinda, for a good chunk of it. Like, he's just this grouch that doesn't want to. He just wants to kind of wait it out. He's not very friendly at all. Like, Richard Attenborough is the one that's kind of the buffer between him and everybody else in the movie.
It was such a different time. Like, nowadays, I feel like we get unlikable characters playing heroes all the damn time because it's viewed as like this more compelling story. But back then, it was a genuine risk to put somebody in, and if your lead is going to be an anti-hero or a dick, basically, you're not going to want to cast somebody that people are not going to appreciate. So when you cast Stewart as the anti-hero or the asshole, it's somebody that the audience is already going, well, it's Jimmy Stewart. Okay, I can support this a little bit. So it's like buy-in, and now they're meeting you halfway, because if it was anybody else, if it was somebody that's unknown, man, fuck this movie. I don't want to watch this. This is terrible.
Yeah. It's so freaking great. I don't know why it doesn't get the love. I don't get it.
It's a good question. And yeah, it's one of those that people put it out there in an announcement and then completely forgot about it. That's it.
Yep.
All right. This is not one that I've talked about a whole lot, but a little bit of a ulterior motive, I guess you could say, because we were talking about Swiss Conspiracy earlier. And again, even though he's one of the most influential directors of all time, Jack Arnold and The Incredible Shrinking Man. Again, this came out, and a lot of people, they picked it up and talked about it for 5 minutes. This movie is so much deeper than just tiny man, large surroundings. There's existential crises. There's nihilism. There's what is life sort of moments where you're trying to figure out what is the meaning of everything around you. This movie is so much deeper than you expect. And again, expertly directed by Jack Arnold. I think that people that have not checked out this, and you have checked out a sci-fi stuff that is more capital S sci-fi, this is a really great bridge to some of the other stuff that he's done. And this movie specifically, I think, is one that people should check into, like the way that it was made. There's so many great stories surrounding this, but yes, part of the reason why I'm highlighting that is because Will and we worked on the mini Jack Arnold documentary that's coming out on that Swiss Conspiracy disc, and Jack Arnold has done so much in his lifetime. It is such a wild, just exploration of genres that he put out. And Incredible Shrinking Man, to me, is his masterpiece, I think. And I know that a lot of people give a lot of love to a couple of those sci-fi films. Incredible Shrinking Man, though, it gets forgotten somehow in the Criterion catalog, and I don't get it. It hasn't been around for too long, and I get that.
No, it's not that old of a release, but again, it kind of came and went.
Yeah, it is such a great freaking disc. It's one of my favorite releases in the last few years. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I don't know. There is just those certain movies, like you mentioned with Princess Bride, that just stick around. That's always mentioned, and we're gonna always hear about Malcolm X and Thelma and Louise and Parasite and some of these others. But I mean, for how many movies are we up to on Criterion now? Like, there's lots of other ones to talk about.
Yep. Gosh, we're at, I think, 1,300 something now. High Sierra, Smithereens, Medium Cool, Fishing with John,
Yes.
Symbiocyto, Taxoplasm, Take One. I definitely don't have that one yet. Great Criterion release no one talks about. Weekend, the 2011 Andrew Haig film, not the Godard one. Yeah, there's a lot of great Criterions.
Just because they're next to me too, those were the ones that didn't make the cut to talk about.
Failsafe is a good one.
Yeah, Failsafe's great, but no one's talking about this. Maybe got a little bit more talking now, just because there is a Nolan remake, but no one knows what the hell that one is.
Nope,
nobody.
Oh man, there's so many films that if you like pull one strand of interest out of one of these Criterion films, usually there's a tie to another release. And if you just start going through the spider web of cinema just in Criterion, you will discover so many things that you've never seen. You'll discover things that you haven't heard of in either ever or in a long time. You will find so much that is great. And it's again a great grouping of films that people just, they seem to pull the same literally like 75 or 80 titles, and that's on every list. But come on, like, everybody knows that Barry Lyndon is an incredible film. I don't need to recommend people Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, it's the same movies over and over again. But I'm telling you, the chat is recommending some bangers that people don't really talk about. I see Night Train to Munich in there. That's a great World War II movie. No one talks about Night Train to Munich.
Ronnie says 5 of them here. Personal Shopper, love Personal Shopper. That movie's a masterpiece. God, there's some great titles here for sure. Mr. Whateverism says, I'm grabbing all of Tim's picks, so you win.
That's good. I hope I don't let you down, but I love all my picks. So,
Wave says Malcolm X 4K is a must-buy still. I mean, yeah, of course, but we got to recommend other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not trashing that stuff. I mean, I love the Thelma and Louise and Princess Bride and all that stuff. I'm just, the same stuff gets recommended over and over again.
Yep. Hard Copy Blues. I have a modest yet dedicated collection of Criterions at about 200 titles. In every sale, I find so many more I've never even heard of. So true.
Yeah.
Dude says, I still haven't bought Barry Lyndon, and honestly, that's probably smart. Kino's probably going to put it out on 4K the next year or two.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Terry, The Incredible Shrinking Man is great. The only reason I don't have the Criterions that I picked up the Arrow version not too long before Criterion's release. Nice. Gosh, there's so many more that we could just go on and on about. But
oh god, I mean, Imitation of Life got mentioned. I mean, there's some great stuff. Even like I've been in the noir mood too. So like I mentioned in a video recently, Mildred Pierce is so fantastic. There's so much in the Criterion collection, man. Oh my gosh.
This has been a great discussion. I feel like we could have made a list of 20 and easily pulled down 20 titles that people don't talk about enough.
Yep. I had a hard time because I'm like, I have too much that isn't talked about enough.
I originally had 9 titles and I had to whittle down 4. God, what were the other 4 that I had? Funny enough, Personal Shopper was one of them. put them away, and now I can't remember which ones. Oh well. Another one that people don't talk about enough, I'll throw out here, Hoop Dreams. Please check out Hoop Dreams if you've never seen it. Literally probably the best documentary of all time. Love that.
Again, came and went. Decibner is sweet smell of success, awesome, and Detour, awesome. So my goodness, like the chat knows what's up and recommending some really great movies.
Yep, we got a pretty incredible chat here. But tonight, we've had a pretty incredible guest. Tim, thank you for hanging out tonight.
Thank you for having me. This has been 2 hours went quick, man.
It really does on here, yeah. Tim, Reggie, he showed the other three. Tim said you had 8 titles. What are the other 3?
Yeah,
Failsafe.
This one, no one talks about this one. Things to Come, and the original Insomnia, which is way ickier feeling than the Nolan one. Like way ickier.
Tim, you're gonna have to come back and do another one of these because this has been too perfect.
I would gladly, man. I had a blast.
We'll get you on here in the next couple months for sure. Anybody, like I said, if you've never checked out Tim's channel, please do. Another positive voice, just talking about movies, talking about physical media, doing what we can to keep it going, because in a hard time of the world, it's really easy just to shut down for the night and put on a film and forget about it.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. We will see you again next Thursday, and if you've got an inkling to have more of these conversations, please check out the link below for the Patreon in the description. Sardis says Tim Talks Talkies recommends a silent film tonight. That was too funny to not mention. Good night everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. We'll talk to you then.
Bye.